Hello there, Cambly learners. It's me again, Cambly Tutor Yuri. And today I'll be going over the format of the IELTS test in greater detail. So where do we begin? Well, the first thing I want to touch on are the 4 IELTS testing sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. But first, before we go into each of these 4 sections, it's important to note that there are 2 types of IELTS tests. That's right, there are 2 types of IELTS tests. There's IELTS General and there's IELTS Academic. Now perhaps you're asking, what's the difference between these 2 tests? And if you don't know, that is an important question to ask. So firstly, in answering this question for you, I need you to ask yourself the following question first. Why are you thinking of taking the IELTS test? The reason I'm asking this is because if you need to take an IELTS test to get into an English-speaking university or for professional registration, then you need to do an IELTS academic test. So professional registration means working as a professional in an industry where English proficiency is needed. Let's say, for example, you are applying to be a nurse and you want to work as a nurse in Ireland. Well, in order for the recruiters to know your English level is sufficient for you to work as a nurse using English at that hospital, then you will need to do the IELTS academic test. The second type of IELTS test is the IELTS general test. And if you're immigrating to an English-speaking country, you'll need to do this kind of test, the IELTS general test. Okay, so let's return now to the format of the test itself. The 4 parts. What are they again? They're listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So let's start with listening. Listening will be a 30 to 40 minute exercise. There'll be 40 questions and 4 sections. This means 4 separate audio recordings which you will need to listen to very carefully, and then you'll need to answer 40 questions about what you have heard. It'll probably be about 10 questions for each section, so that's about 10 questions for each audio recording. Now, an example might include listening to 2 people having a conversation about something and then being able to answer the questions about what they said to each other. Next, let's cover reading. Now, the reading portion of your test, you'll have 1 hour to complete. Now, again, it's important whether you're doing the IELTS academic or the IELTS general. If you're doing the IELTS academic, you'll need to read about 3 to 4 passages and then answer 40 questions based on what you have read. Now, these passages will get progressively more difficult. This means that the first passage will be easier than the passages that come next, and so forth. Now, because you're doing the IELTS academic, in this case, these passages will be academic style passages, such as journal articles or something out of a textbook. They'll be related to topics like science or history. On the other hand, if you're doing the IELTS general test, then you will have 4 short passages. Now, the first will be the shortest and the easiest, and each passage that comes next will get longer and more difficult. And these passages will be more general, everyday type articles or texts. Next, we have writing. So you will have a total of 1 hour for the writing task. Here you'll be challenged with 2 writing tasks. Again, this is depending on whether you're doing the IELTS academic or the IELTS general. So your writing exercises will definitely be different. So allow me to break it down for you. Let's start with the IELTS academic. Your writing task 1, you'll need to describe and analyze the data from one of the following: a bar chart, a line graph, a pie chart, or a table or diagram. Now, in your IELTS general writing task 1, you'll have to write a letter in either of the following styles. You'll either have to write it in a formal style. This is to someone you do not know. In a semi-formal style. This is to someone you know formally. Or in an informal style. This is a letter to a friend or family member. Now, for both your IELTS general and your IELTS academic writing task 1, you'll have 20 minutes. And you must write at least 150 words. So now, let's cover writing task 2. Writing task 2 will be the same for both IELTS Academic and IELTS General. Here you'll need to write an essay. You'll be given an essay question which you'll be challenged to answer in 40 minutes, and you'll need to write at least 250 words for your essay in English. Lastly, your final section in your IELTS test will be for speaking. In your speaking test, you'll be interviewed by your examiner, and this test will include 3 parts. Part 1 will be like an interview. The examiner will ask questions about you, and these may cover various topics. So part 1 should take about 4 to 5 minutes. Part 2 will be a short presentation. You'll be shown a cue card with a question and things that you should try to cover in your presentation. You'll be given 1 minute to prepare, where you can write down any keywords or create a mind map of ideas or words you've thought of related to the question asked. Once your 1 minute of preparation time is up, you'll be given 1 to 2 minutes to talk. Part 3 is a more detailed discussion. The examiner will ask you more broadly related questions about your world view on a topic that may be linked to the topic in Part 2, but could also venture off onto other topics. Part 3 should take about 4 to 5 minutes. So in total, you're looking at about 11 to 15 minutes for your speaking test. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Cambly, Cambly gives you instant access to friendly native English speakers like me. And you can take English lessons anytime, anywhere, right from your phone or your computer. Schedule your next lesson with me or any of our amazing tutors using the link down below. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.